Hi everybody, hope you can hear me and hope you can see me. Can you give me a confirmation? You can hear me and you can see me, and press that like button. Can you give me a message, guys? I'm visible and I'm audible to you. Just give me a message. I'm visible and audible to you. Okay. Can I get started, guys? If you give confirmation, I can get started. Today is gonna be very interesting session. Give me a confirmation if I'm audible and visible, then I can get started. Okay. I am visible and audio to you. Okay, I think you're saying I'm visible and audible both. Okay, fine, cool. Thanks for joining, guys. And today is going to be very interesting session, the last session of our AI engineering series, basically. And if you remember what we have done in first two sessions is, in first session we built a RAG, the basic RAG. In sessions two, what we did is we built a chunking, we built a re-ranking, and we built some more things on our RAG. So some of you who has not watched those two, you can simply go to Unfold Data Science, you can go to Live, and you can watch these two. Okay, so what we have done here at a very high level, we have done built a basic RAG here where we understood what RAG is, how it works, etc. In the second week, what we did is we added re-ranking, we added evaluation, we added chunking strategies, and some more things on this RAG. So this is about these two. And today we are in part three. What we will be doing is we will be taking our RAG to AWS. So we will be doing end-to-end deployment. Okay, sounds good. Give me a thumbs up if you're liking this, guys, and if you want to do the deployment with me. Give me a thumbs up. And first thing you have to do is you have to go to GitHub. If you want to do with me, go to GitHub and just clone this in your local machine. So go to github.com, unfold data science, ML research assistant, clone this in your local machine. Clone means you can also download it or do a git clone. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Okay. Download it, open in your code editor, whatever. Or if you want to do a git clone, obviously you can do it. Whatever you want to do, whatever better you can do, and keep this code with you. I'm going to explain you what I'm going to do now. Okay, listen to this very carefully, and then we will be going into the deployment part. So what is happening now is I'm having an IDE in my machine cursor. Okay, it can be a Visual Studio, it could be any other IDE, and I'm putting all my codes, all my scripts here. So I will show you that. So for example, if I go to cursor in my machine here, I have all the codes and everything. What I have done is I have pushed everything to Git. So the Git which you are seeing here, I have pushed everything to Git for you to download. And what I'm going to do now is in front of you, I'm going to deploy everything to AWS. And how that will happen at a very high level. This is my local machine. So cursor, my local machine. From this cursor or from my local machine, from my local hard drive, what I will do is I will push this code to AWS EC2. Now, some of you who is not aware of what is EC2 in AWS, do you know what is EC2 in AWS? Anyone knows what is EC2? Okay, no problem if you don't know. EC2 you can think of as a server on cloud. Okay, so I will write here server on cloud. Okay, and what we will do is we will push all our code to Amazon Web Services server on the cloud. And what we will do is we will do all the setup here. So we will do everything from scratch. Okay, we will do all the setup. We will do all the package installation, whatever you call it, that will come in the setup only. We will build the index. If you remember in the first lecture and second lecture, the first thing we should do is we should build the index. Then only we can build a RAG, right? So we will build the index, and that then what we are going to do, we are going to run our app. And this time when we run our app, right, what will happen is this app will be accessible from the public internet. So for example, if I go here, if I go to let's say any website, I will give the number. For example, I can give 30, 120, 340, 23. This will be my IP address of my server where my app is hosted. And then you can also access from your, it should be dot dot, not colon colon. Colon is for port number basically. So imagine first four things as dot dot, okay? And then on this address, my app will be accessible to the open internet. That is what the purpose. Okay, sounds good? Give me a thumbs up if it sounds good. Excited to do this? Say excited in the chat, guys. Don't be so dull. We are learning here something very, very important. Okay, so if you want to watch or you want to do with me, both your choice. But I have put all the instructions in deployment.md file here. So you have to go and open this deployment.md file. And here everything is there. AWS EC2 deployment guide. This is complete step-by-step guide to deploy ML Research Assistant RAG application on EC2. Some prerequisites, since we are doing on AWS, obviously you will need a AWS account. You will need a Windows machine with PowerShell or Git Bash. This is normally you might be having. You will need a Weaviate Cloud URL and API key, obviously. OpenAI API key, obviously. And SCP client. This is very similar to what this is, so don't worry about it. I'll follow all the instructions from here in front of you. There is a lot of instructions, but it's going to be very, very interesting. I'll keep explaining you what I'm doing. First of all, we should go and search for AWS login. Okay, and I want to go to AWS Management Console. Here I will sign in. And since I'm already logged in, so it is taking me to my login. As you can see, UFDS is written here. So UFDS is my account. UFDS is written here. I will follow all the instructions from this page, guys. Go to AWS console, navigate to EC2 service. So I will go either you can write here EC2 or it's coming here suggestion. I'll click on this. Okay. And then I'm going to launch a new instance. Launch an instance means launch a new server. Then I can name this server anything I want. For example, I will say Aman, L, not LLM, AI engineering. Okay, so let's say this is the name of my server. Then here, click launch instance, configure name, any name you want to give. Select Ubuntu service 22.04, architecture 64-bit. Come here, select Ubuntu. Okay, And here you can see Ubuntu server 24.04. You can go with 64-bit, there is no problem. Instance type, you can go with T2 macro, there is no problem. This is one important thing, okay? Pay attention here. You will need a key pair when you want to log into this server, okay? What you need? You need a key pair when you want to log into this server. So I will go and say create new key pair, okay? And I will name it something. For example, Aman AI ENG. This is the name of my key pair. I'm downloading a PEM file, .pem file, okay? And I will say create key pair. Key pair is downloaded in my downloads now. So if you can see in my downloads folder, there is this Aman AI eng.pem. This will be used to log into the server. So this is important, okay? Now, if you go to instructions, right? So we have selected T2 macro. You can go for T3 medium or T3 large, depending on if it's a production. But now we are, I'm showing you the from application point of view, right? Key pair, I told you just download it and keep it somewhere safe. Then you go to the network. So here you will be a network setting will be there. And here you can go to create security groups. Okay. And let it be like this only. And what you can do is select existing security group. No, create security group. Okay. Anywhere this is fine. And let me go to my instruction. Click security group, click edit. Okay. So I need to edit basically create security group. There will be an edit. Okay. And here what we need to do is let it be like this, and we will do a add security group role. In this role, what we will do is if you see here, right, security group allow SSH traffic from IP 40/0. Okay, add security group rule custom TCP 8501 and this number. So this is very important, guys, otherwise your app will not launch. So this will be custom. Okay, here you can give this. Fine. In the description you can give STREAMLIT app. This is just for your understanding of what it is doing. And in the port, right, you have to give 8501. Okay, and move ahead. So in my instruction here, description Streamlit app port 8501 custom TCP. So custom TCP protocol port range source description. Okay, fine. Now what we will do, we will come here and increase our configuration storage to 20 GB because 8 GB is not enough. 8 GB is not enough. So let's take 20 GB. We are defining our server here. Okay. And then we will say launch instance. So keep everything as it is. And here on the right hand side, you will see a button launch instance. What is the meaning of launching instance? The meaning of launching instance is very simple. We are renting a server on AWS. So on AWS, Amazon Web Services, we are renting a server. You can rent processing, you can rent storage, you can rent servers on cloud. So right now I am renting a server. If you have doubts on how these things work, I highly encourage you go to Unfold Data Science and go to playlists. And this is one of the most watched playlist on Unfold Data Science. AWS for data science. As you can see, there are 16 videos. Watch these videos. Your life will be very easy in understanding how AWS works. Okay. What I'm going to do now is my server is launched, successfully initiated launch of the instance. If you go to instances and if you go to something like I want to basically put here a launch instance I have done. I want to launch put here a elastic IP. This is optional, but if you do this, what will happen is your server will not always change the IP addresses. Okay, So in EC2, go to console on Elastic IPs. So on the left hand side, I will go here, Elastic IPs, okay? And I will say allocate Elastic IPs. I will say allocate. So what will happen is it will allocate an Elastic IP to that. So then the IP address will not change every time you shut down the machine. Basically, this is optional, but again, if you want, you can do it. Now go to EC2, click on EC2, go to instance. You will see that my instance name is Aman AI Engineering, this one, third one, okay? So let me click on this instance. And since I'm clicking on that instance, so I will show you something. If you see here, the previous two instances are already running and this is initializing. So our instance is now initializing. It's not live yet. Okay. It's not live yet. It is initializing. So you have to wait for some time. Not too much of time, just 1-2 minutes. It's still initializing. So if you come here, right? If you click on that instance name, if you click on this instance ID, there is something known as public IPv4 address. And this is a very important address that you need to copy and keep it somewhere safe. So for example, what I will do is I want to put it in Notepad++ basically. What I will do is I will put it somewhere. Let me open a new file. I'll put this here. Okay. This is my public IPv4 address for the new instance. Fine. And then whatever you have done with this instance will show here. For example, what is the security you have put, what is the storage you have put, all those information, it will show here. So let it be. These are not pretty important for our deployment now. But what is important for us is if the instance is running and ready to use. So instance is running and as you can see status 2x2 check passed, which means my instance is ready to use now. Okay. How will you log into this instance from your local machine? That is one important thing. For that, what I will do is I will open something known as PowerShell. You can do it in multiple ways. You can do it from AWS CLI. You can do it from different ways, but I'm using PowerShell. Okay. And the command to log into that instance will be you remember this is the IP address of the instance. So from your local machine, you have to do an SSH. So what I will do is I will take this and I will put it here. If you see this entire command, guys, SSH-I, C users Aman are downloads, and here the name of the file should be the name what is there for my file. You remember we downloaded one file in the beginning. Downloads. What is name of our file? Aman-AI-eng. Aman-AI-eng. Okay. This becomes our script to log into the command to log into that server. But before that, one final thing you need to check is go here and ensure that Aman R has permission to read and write this file. So go to properties, go to security, click on advanced, and first thing you need to do is disable inheritance. Okay. Convert inherited permission into explicit permission on this object. Remove all inherited permission. Okay. So I will say apply and okay. This is one thing you need to do. Second thing you need to do is edit. This is just a basic safety. I will say Aman R, and to this Aman R, I will give all the permission. So read permission is there, but I will give full control. Okay. Sometimes this key is not accessible, then that becomes a problem. So Aman AI eng.pem. Now, if you want to, whatever I'm doing, right, everything is there in the Git, guys. Don't worry. Come here, locate your key file, navigate to this folder. I'll do it now, don't worry. And then whatever I did now, it is telling you go to property, click advanced, uncheck, include inheritable permission. When prompted, remove all. This is what I did. Okay, click OK. Now I'm ready to log into my remote server. So what I will do is I will copy this command and I'll come here and I will paste. So first time it will ask you, do you want to go ahead? And then if you can see here, right? Let me increase the size for you. Edit properties 24. Okay. Let me increase a little bit more. Properties 28. So I'm inside Ubuntu IP 172.31.26.176. This is basically if you go here to the instance, right? You will think that I'm logging in here, then why this address is showing. But this is a private IPv4 address that will show, don't worry about it. I'm logged into this server. Okay, I'm logged into this server. Now what I need to do is I need to transfer all my codes to AWS. How I will do that? The very first thing I need to do is go back to here, SSH we have done. If it doesn't work, use the full path. Remember, replace this with your key, replace this with your IP. Okay, some troubleshooting if it does not work. Now I will go ahead and set up the application. So when I want to transfer my file from local to there, right? One thing we need to keep in mind is my file also has virtual environment, okay, which is very big in size. Then sometimes it can have a Hugging Face cache, which is very big in size. So these things I don't want to transfer. I want to transfer only code. I don't want to transfer big files. So for that, what I have done is I have written a script here. Okay. And the first thing we will do is we will simply run the script called deploy copy to ec2.ps1. So if you see here, right, copy to ec2.ps1 will exclude these files. I don't want to transfer these files basically. Okay. I want to transfer only code. So don't worry about this shell script. This is basically transferring your files. That's it. You can do it using SCP also, but this is an easier way. Okay. So if you go to this one, right, run the SCP script, replace your name. The script will execute large directories, exclude, copy only file, transfer to EC2, and then env file is not copied as it is in git ignore. So I will create it later. Fine. Option B is manually. Manually using SCP, you can do all these things. But why do you want to do manually, right? Let's do it through the code. Okay. And what is the code? The code is this one. And let me copy this and tell you how you should edit this. So what I will do is I will paste it here. And what is my key path, guys? My key path is this. So let me copy here. What is my instance IP? My instance IP is this. So let me copy here. Okay. And then copy this entire command. Go to your wherever your project is. In my case, it's in Cursor. In your case, it could be in Visual Studio Code or anywhere. Just run this. Okay. Once you run this, you will see that after some time, the transferring messages will start coming. Okay. Which means file is getting transferred from local to AWS EC2. If you see copying project to EC2, excluding large files, and then it is filtering files. Okay. So what should happen is file should get transferred. File should get transferred. Okay. So it is basically creating connection and then it will start putting the files, but it should be very fast once it creates connection. This is the first time to that server, right? So we will come back to this, but I want to show you where the files will come. If you come to my EC2, right? And go to home Ubuntu. This is where my files would come. Currently, nothing should be here. Nothing is here, right? Nothing is here. These are hidden files. Just ignore that. But nothing is here. So what I'm expecting is all the files from my local should come to this location. Okay. And if we face any issues in this, we will see how to fix that. That is about deployment, right? We need to see where the issues are and then we need to fix it. But I'm hoping files will transfer. Let's see. Okay. As you can see, files have started transferring. So deployment.md, readmd, config, load archive, chunking, embedding, index Weaviate, evaluation, LLM client. So all my project files except big files have started getting transferred, and it will finish in like few seconds now. Okay. So if you come here, right, you will see ls minus lrt. If I do one more time, you will see that a new folder has been created, ML Research Assistant. And if I go inside this folder, right, you will see that files are present. Okay. So these are my files, app, deploy. These are my files. Okay. So in my project, right, you will see app, then deploy, then scripts. These are my folders. So app, deploy, scripts are my folders. Then pyproject.toml, requirement.txt, uv.log. All these things are here. pyproject.to, deployment.md. All these things are here. Okay. So everything is now where? Now in AWS. So whatever I did now, all the instructions are written here. Open PowerShell, run the SCP if you want to do it later, of course. If that does not work, go to option B and you can transfer files one after another. I verified that file is already there. So I have verified. Now what we need to do is we need to run actually I'm inside ML Research Assistant. So I need no need to change my directory. But what I need to do is I need to run setup ec2.sh. Now somebody will ask, what is this script doing? This script is doing nothing, guys. This script is simply setting up the Python. Okay, so if you see here, this is again a shell script. What it will do is it will simply sudo apt-get update y. So let me run that script. This will take some time to run actually. So basically you can think of setting up your environment in the remote machine. Remote machine means AWS. Okay. So you can see some commands are running here. What are these commands? Let's see this file. First of all, it will update your server. Okay. It will install Python and pip. Okay. Then it will try to create a virtual environment. If virtual environment is there, it will not there, it will create, and it will upgrade the pip. And most important, line number 61, it will install all packages from requirements.txt. If you remember, we have put all our needed package in requirement.txt. So what my setup script will do, it will install those packages. And this is very important for environment setup, right? So it will execute this code. And then these are just some indicators, but we will set it up later. Okay. And this is your commented code. Don't worry about that. Environment created. And inside this, you can do a source and you can run your Python script. But first, let it happen. Okay. So if you can see, it is doing it. And it will take some 2-3 minutes maybe, because for the first time on a new server, we are setting up the things. So as you can see, packages are getting installed. This is a brand new server that we created together. Like I created in front of you now, right? So it will take some time for the first time, but this is good to see. We are doing things from the scratch, guys. I'm not showing you anything that is pre-built, because if I face any issues, I want to show you how to fix that as well. That is the whole idea here. So let it run. Meanwhile, what we will do is I will just give you a quick view of how we have been building our things, right? So um, in our RAG, there is basically we are building a RAG 2.0. In this RAG 2.0, the important thing is building the knowledge source, right? And these knowledge sources are nothing but research papers, which we are taking from arXiv website and we are putting it into Weaviate Cloud, right? So what we will do is after our environment is set up, these are the things that will happen. Okay. Read papers, read papers from website. These are the things that will happen when we do build index. Okay. Create chunks, create chunks and load in Weaviate and make knowledge source ready to be used by RAG, to be used by RAG. So these three things we need to do. And these three things will happen through a script called build index.py. Build index.py. If you come to build index.py in the local, I will just show you. Go to scripts, go to build index.py. You will see that build the initial Weaviate index from arXiv dataset, and we are taking, we are indexing, and then we are creating a Weaviate connection, and then we are putting data inside. Okay, we are putting data inside that chunk. Let's see where our deployment has reached the installation. So installation is happening, guys. Don't worry if it is taking some time. If, as I said, right, if it fails or if there is some problem, right, we should be live resolving it. And one more thing I want to tell you. So these three things, right, read paper, create chunks will happen through build index.py. But build index will need two things. One is your Weaviate URL and Weaviate key that we discussed in part 2 of this LLM engineering series, AI engineering series, and your OpenAI key. So if you see this dot environment file, right, I have intentionally not put anything here, put value here, OpenAI, GPT-4o mini. If you go to GitHub, for example, okay, if you go to GitHub, you will see a .env. Here, I am saying .env example. OpenAI key, put value here. Here you should put your key. LLM provider, you should put. LLM model, you should put. You should put your configuration, you should put your configuration. Now don't ask me how to put this configuration. I have explained you many times. And if you want a revision, just go to build RAG from scratch this video. I have shown you everything, how to get a Weaviate URL key, everything. You can get it from here. Okay. And I have used it in all my videos also till now in live. So all in all, you need to put your details here. If you remember, when I copied files to the remote server, I ignored .env, and that was intentional. Why that was intentional is I don't want to share my key with you. So I have just put a template here, and in the remote server, I will create it and put the keys manually. Okay, I will stop sharing for a few minutes, but when I stop sharing, I will create this file in remote. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is I will create a file in the server called .env and I will put my keys, and that time I will stop screen sharing. Fine. So let me see what happens to my installation. Press enter after key. dot inv template created. Okay, fine. Okay, so I think the setup is completed, but I have not yet put my key. I mean, if I do a ls minus LART, you won't see a .env file here. Okay, but .env file should be here. In here, GitHub, you will see a .env, but here you don't see a .env. I will create a .env now, and I will put these values. Okay, so let me copy this. Let me copy up to from here to here. I will say nano. Nano is a editor in you Ubuntu basically. .env. Okay, I'm creating a new file here. Okay, the file is created. Okay, I think that script has created this file, but why in the when I did a ls minus LART, why it was not? I'm interested to see. .env file when I did ls minus LART, why it was not visible? Has it created somewhere? Has it created inside deploy? ls minus LART. No, where it has created and why this file is here. And if this file is here, then when I'm doing ls minus LART, why it is not showing? Anyway, let's go and edit that file. So nano dot env. I wanted a blank file. Why that? This kind of file I want, a blank file basically. Okay, that file is let's say that file is not there. So I will copy this. That's just the template I'm copying. Okay, and I'll put here. And then what you can do is if you want to save this, right? You can do a control X and control O. Sorry, control X. Yes, control O. Sorry, I'm forgetting the shortcut for nano editor. Cat dot env. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop screen share and put my keys here, and I will not show you that. Okay, so don't mind guys, please. And this is how you have to update your keys. So let me stop sharing for some time. And I'm putting the keys. If you are doing with me, you can also put the keys. Okay, basically I need to go one step back because in the project root directory we should put, okay, nano dot env. And here I'll put my keys. It will take 1 minute, guys. I'm just copying my keys from my actual file where I put all my keys. I hide all my keys basically. So OpenAI key. OpenAI key. Okay, LLM provider, fine. Then I will put Weaviate URL, https:// and that thing you should put https:// and then your URL. That instruction is there uh, in our instruction sheet. Don't worry. All instructions are there in our instruction sheet. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Weaviate API key. Cat Weaviate key, Weaviate API, OpenAI key. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. So what I will do is I will start resharing my screen with you. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again with you. What I have done is I have put my key inside this .env. Okay, and let me change also the permission of that. Sometimes the permission creates problem. But one thing is I'm little surprised how .env got created, and first time I did ls minus lart it was not showing. Anyway, I have the .env now and I can play around with this. So if you go to the instructions again, this is our deployment page, right? If you go to deployment page again, what we have done, we have copied the files, we have done our virtual environment is also created, but what we can do is run the script setup we have run, create .in file template. You will edit this. We have already edited now, so don't worry. Now we will check if our requirements are working fine. So for example, our setup is working fine. So Python 3, Python 3.12.3. So this looks fine. We can go here. I mean, we are already here, but just we can go here. Python 3M virtual environment. Basically, one virtual environment is created for us. Okay, I want to use this only. So no need of creating a new virtual environment. We can simply activate the existing virtual environment, which is created as part of setup. Okay, created that we are inside that virtual environment now. And now if my key and everything is works fine, see it says configure environment variable. This I just did now. Okay, so that's fine. So this is how if you are using a nano editor, right? You remember I was struggling using nano. So if you want to save something in nano, you can do control X, then Y, and then enter. Okay. First control X, then Y, and then enter. So you want to see something, I will show you. For example, ls minus lart. And I can create a new file here, nano aman.txt, txt, just to show you. Hi, this is a nano edited file. Okay, so control X, then Y, then enter. Okay, and then I can view the content of that file. So cat aman.txt. Hi, this is a nano edited file. Okay, I don't need this file, so I'll simply delete it. So rm aman.txt. I don't need this file. Okay, so clear. ls minus lart. All files are here. And we are ready to build our index. So you remember I was explaining you here. We need to first build our index. So we will call this script build index.py. So let's keep our fingers crossed, guys. This is using a lot of things actually. So it should run perfectly. Otherwise it will create a problem. So how to build index? Python 3 scripts build index.py. That's it. Okay. So I'm running this and let's see if it runs fine or it gives any problem. Okay, looks like it is running fine. Downloading readme. If you see collecting paper chunk is there in my Weaviate, so it is saying it's there. But again, it is creating from I have taken just 5 papers because this is a demo, right? So I have taken 5. You can obviously in config, right? So I will just stop sharing for one moment, guys. The reason being, am I not sharing my screen? You guys are not telling also. Am I sharing or not sharing? Yes, I'm sharing, right? I will do a stop share just for a moment. I want to do something. Okay, I will reshare. So I hope you are able to see my screen, guys. I will reshare my screen. Okay, and here we can do, we have pushed all our index here. I mean, we have done the index building. So I have put here, this is the kind of output you will see when you build your index there. Or if you have some problems, these are the kind of which I have faced when I build it first time. If you remember, right, in my AWS, I have built three different instances. The reason being, once I build, I faced some issues, then I faced some issues, and now I'm showing you live. I did not want to share, um, I mean, I did not want to confuse you with troubleshooting that I faced. So I have put the troubleshooting things here. Okay. And now what we can do is, this is already activated. So we can launch our Streamlit app. Okay. So go here and launch the app with this command, Streamlit run. Server address, this server port 8501. If you see, it says you can view your Streamlit app in your browser 00008501. The meaning is, now this is an open internet thing, which means you can also watch this. So I will go here. I will take my IP address. This is my IP address. Okay. And let's go to open internet and let's say 8501. So this now you will be also able to access this app. Can you try to access this, guys? Go to your computer and just type this 54 colon 237, sorry, 54 dot 237.58.101 and colon 8501. Can you tell me if you are able to access? And then what I'll do is I will ask a query to this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a query, and query should be from the Weaviate. If you remember, this is the data we have pushed in Weaviate, right? So we discussed about this in part 1 and part 2 in detail. So let's go to any of the chunk and ask. Generalized form factors of nucleon. Okay, this looks little technical. So what is important about generalized form factor of nucleon? So can you try this, guys, from your machine if you are able to access my rack? And this is the answer coming. Okay, from the chunk 5. So there are chunks here and answer is coming here. And if you see on the left hand side, I have disabled re-ranking and disabled evaluation. So let me enable evaluation for one moment and let me search one more time. Okay, so we discussed in detail what is the meaning of precision, recall, MMR, NDCG, all these things we discussed in previous lecture. Re-ranking is disabled. Let me enable re-ranking as well and run. Can you tell me if you are able to access my application from local internet, basically your local machine open internet? So this will take some time because it is loading a model. So if you go to my this one, right, you will see that the re-ranker model is getting loaded. So it will take some time and then it will show you the result. So for the first time, it is loading a model. So re-ranking will take some time. So if I have to revise what we have done today, we have basically build the index using build indexing. This is, as I like to call it, this is your prep part of RAG, or in other way you can say training part, but I like to call it prep part, when you are preparing your knowledge. Okay. And then when we launched our Streamlit application, many things are happening inside app. So first thing is happening, that is matching. Then we are basically doing re-ranking. Then we are doing evaluation. Then we are showing the final answer, re-ranking. Then we are passing the context to LLM. Then we are doing evaluation, etc. So this is the flow that when we launch our Streamlit app, right? It goes through that channel. Okay. So if you are able to access, guys, then you can, any of these queries you can ask something different than me. For example, if you are able to access my RAG, right? You can simply say, I'll give you one query. Ask forward limit of generalized magnetic form factor. Ask about this. I will put in YouTube chat. Ask about this to the RAG in open internet. Okay. And then here again, through this, you'll be able to launch the app. Your app should be available at 8501 port. Okay. And you can access the application by Control C. You can stop the application. And for performance optimization, you can choose a different OpenAI. We have used a OpenAI embedding so that no model downloads needed. Re-ranking is disabled by default if you noted. Okay. Re-ranking may take 30 to 60 seconds. I'm not sure why connection is diffusing, but let's try again. Okay. So troubleshooting, if you don't get maybe a firewall issue, maybe you did not set the port right. So go back to my video and see how I have set the port. Your environment file may not have the right key. Your virtual environment may not be set properly. Some of the packages might be missing or Streamlit might be missing. You can do the apt-get update, as is security best practices. So what we have done, we have used uh, things that will make your app faster or load faster. Okay, I think when we are doing re-ranking, the app is becoming slow. Re-ranker model loaded successfully killed. Okay, let's not use re-ranking for now. I'll relaunch the app. Okay, I'll relaunch the app. Without re-ranking, we can access the app. Okay, maybe in re-ranking there is something which is making the app go crazy. So we will just do enable evaluation, and we will put our query and we will search. Re-ranking is making the system slow, and I think the 20 GB of RAM is not able to properly handle it. Let me see how much space is free in my machine. Okay, I can see that afterwards, not a problem. So answer is here, evaluation metric is here. So up to evaluation, it's fine. But when I do re-ranking, there is something happens here and it gets killed. Anyway, so what we have done, guys, if you are doing with me, congratulations, your app is live on internet and deployed in AWS EC2. Okay, for questions and issue, check the logs or review the guide. All the instructions are here. You can try everything. I will give you this link one more time. Go to that, take the project, build it, and let me know how did you build it. This is where your all instructions are. Very simple requirements, nothing fancy. This is your environment where you need to put values. In deploy, you have scripts. One is for copying, one is for setting up. And the start app is basically either you can start using Streamlit command, or if you want to start using shell, you can do like this as well. Okay, if you are a shell script person, if you like shell scripting, you can do like this as well. And other things are basically we have discussed in detail in our previous models, previous lectures. Basically, what are these? Any queries, guys? I tried to keep it very, very simple so that you can easily understand and you can easily try anything that you want to ask me right now. I'm happy to answer your queries after the session also. And let me stop my two instances. Otherwise, I'll just terminate or delete instance. This was just for my practice before this session. Okay. So I will delete these two instances. This one terminated. And after your research, you can also delete your instance. You will end up paying some money otherwise. Okay. Mm, I will simply delete because I have anyway one instance Aman AI running. So this instance, first two instances I'm deleting knowingly. If you go to this one, this is our main one. And I can click here also and open it. I can take some other query and ask. I will ask importance of quark orbital angular momentum. Again, this is optimized for uh, taking less time, but feel free to go to config and change the things, guys. Okay. So what I'm telling you is you can go to app, you can go to config.py and change how many papers you are reading. For example, now I'm reading 5 papers only. You can make it 50 also or 100 also, your choice. Okay. I don't want my build index to run very long, so I make it 5, but you can make it 50 or 100 also, not a problem. Make it chunking strategies we discussed in detail, overlap we discussed in detail. Just try with different fixed size, sentence based, semantic. Okay, in config, you can do all these things. So with a combination of shell scripts plus Python, we have built a very clean deployment script here, which you can take and use. Okay, I hope you like the session, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you like the session. And I'll keep meeting you through other YouTube videos, of course. And I read all the comments, guys. Please keep giving me comments on my YouTube videos so that I know you are watching, what kind of content you like, what kind of videos you like, right? I will know that if you keep giving me comments. Okay. With that in mind, you can download the code from here, try it out and let me know how it went. And I will see you all in my next YouTube. Fine. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody. See you all.